Hey guys, Marissa at kitchentablestamper.com. I got the cutest project for you today. I can't even get over it. So I got the Nutty Bars from the Dollar Tree. You get, I think, 4 in a box for $1.25 now. Don't even get me started on the $1.25 tree. We're gonna do this fun little slant top lid box. It's a flip top box, so it opens up, and inside this adorable little treat. They're peanut butter nutty bars. So nuts about you and squirrels. I couldn't resist. Anyway, let's get started. I want to do two things here. The first thing I want to do is punch our heart scallop one. And I want one for inside and one for outside. And then that's from Basic White. And then with a smooth heart, I'm going to do real red, one for the inside and one for the outside. All right, so we've got those pieces punched. Then let's go ahead and get some very vanilla cardstock here. We're gonna stamp our little squirrel dude first, and then we'll get to our box in just a minute. I'm gonna use the Nuts About Squirrels stamp set. It's photopolymer, so let me get a Stampin' Pierce mat and some ink pads. We're going to start with Early Espresso and Soft Suede. And I've got my outline, my little squirrel here. We have lovingly nicknamed him Phil. So we're going to stamp Phil and Early Espresso. And then we're going to fill in Phil's fur with Soft Suede. I love this two-step stamping. It gives a really cute coloring effect that I wouldn't have the confidence to do with markers, where he's got the little white belly and white chin and the white under his tail. I love two-step stamping. Okay, let's get new ink pads here so we can color in the acorn. For my acorn, I have cinnamon cider and crumb cake. You know, look at the acorn. This is the fill for the acorn, and there's a little, what looks like a crack here. That's Phil's hand. That's going to be one of the critical markers for lining up this two-step stamping. You want that little crack right over his hand, and then you'll get the perfect color in. And for the top of the acorn, we're going to do cinnamon cider today. Isn't that just adorable? All right, let me get rid of the ink pads and the Stampin' Pierce mat, and we'll cut Phil out with scissors. Save the rest of this very vanilla cardstock. We're going to use it for our tag, and we'll just give Phil a quick little fussy cut. Stampin' Up did not give us dies for Phil. It's so sad. Send him an email, would ya? I'm going to cut him out so that he's got a little tiny border past the line, and we'll be right back to finish up. I've got my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine here next. We're going to put some texture on the hearts that we just punched out. So we'll need 1 and 4 to emboss with the new Hive embossing folder. This is coming in the January-June catalog. We're just going to do the side that kind of looks like bubble wrap. It's a really cool embossing folder where you can get 2 great effects. I'll show you. All right, so we've embossed, and our hearts are really cool. Look, so here's one side, and here's the other. This one looks more like a honeycomb, and this one has a little bit more of a bubbly look, like bubble wrap. Isn't that a neat embossing folder? I feel like I got 2 for 1. While we're embossing, let's do another little bit of texture for this project. I've got the Tasteful and Texture 3D embossing folder here. My Blushing Bride ink pad. I'm gonna go ahead and ink my folder with Blushing Bride. And then I'm going to pop a scrap of Blushing Bride into the folder on that ink. Let's get our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine back here. This is also a 3D folder, so we'll pop it in on 1, 4 on the top. Let's give it a crank. Now what we've got here is a wonderful faux letterpress. Isn't that cool? How not only do we have a texture, but we've also got great inking. Let's put this aside. I'm gonna bring in my project before I bring the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine in. Do you see that great inked texture on our cutout shape here? So now we're gonna take the swoopy square. This is the medium swoopy square from Hippo and Friends. And we're gonna die cut a piece of that for our project. Now, if you know anything about me, you know that I love to get all the pieces die cut all at one time, if possible. The less passes through the machine per project, the happier I am. So I got a tag here. This is from the Pretty Pillow Box. We're gonna cut that from our Very Vanilla Scrap. And then I have a piece of Early Espresso, and this is actually one of the scraps from cutting the pieces for the box. We're going to pop that guy in there, and we're going to use this branch from the Iconic dies. I'll show you both of those die sets as soon as I take the machine out of the picture, but let's go ahead and cut all 3 dies in one pass. That's winning. There it is. I want to show you this one. So look at that. Now we've got that awesome letterpress, inked texture, and a cute little stitched edge. It's the little things that, the details, little details that make the project. And then look at our beautiful branch. It's got cut details that look like bark. And then the little centers and the leaves, really cool die cut. And this fun tag is perfect for greetings from the Pretty Pillow Box die set. Here is the Pretty Pillow Box die set. It's got the pillow box, which I love to do as a tote. Great labels and tags, little flowers. The supporting pieces for the pillow box are worth their weight in gold. And this is the new, brand new to me, Iconic dies. These are in the back of the annual catalog. Really cool shapes in here. That's where that branch came from. All right, so let's do a little bit of gluing. I got fill all cut out here. Grab some liquid glue and put some of these layers together. I'm gonna use a combination of minis and bigs. I'm gonna put 3 on there, and then I'm gonna put 3 on this one too. This one's gonna have dimensionals and just set aside for a minute. This guy we're gonna glue right to our letterpressed swoopy square. We got Phil. Let's add him to the heart. What I want to do with Phil is put one little dimensional underneath the acorn and one at the end of his tail, because this is already up on dimensionals. And we'll put him at the bottom of the label. Cute, right? Okay, set this aside. Now let's work on our box. Here are the pieces for our box. We have Early Espresso cardstock. These are 4.5 wide by 7 inches for the bottom of the box, 7 1/16 for the top of the box. My designer series paper from the annual catalog. This is the Beauty of the Earth designer series paper. Really great paper pack to go with Nuts About Squirrels. It's got all kinds of greenery, leaves, sky. This one reminds me of kitchen. I don't know why. I wonder whose kitchen. Some winter looking pines. Look at this. This is perfect for Nuts About Squirrels. This is from the Stampin' Up annual catalog. All right, so those are the patterns in the Beauty of the Earth designer series paper. This is 2 1/4 by 5 13/16. Got my Simply Scored tool here, and now we are going to take both the lid and the bottom of the box, and we're going to score all 4 sides at 1 inch. There's the bottom. Now let's do the lid. 1 inch all the way around, and there's the lid. I'm going to work these score lines with the bone folder on both the bottom of the box and the lid. All right, very important. Keep your bottom from your lid separate. Put the bottom aside. We're going to work on the lid now. So this is the template for our lid, and I will have a picture of this in the project sheet for you. We're going to use our paper trimmer. We're going to taper both sides of the box. So I'm going to bring in the paper trimmer here, and we're going to line up this intersecting score line, this little point right here. So it's going to go from this corner through this point and out the back of the box over here, making this trapezoid flap. Let me show you. So here's our point, and it's on the track, and we want this point on the track too. And I found that if I just pivoted the paper with my finger on this point, I could feel it go over the track. And so you'll see point 1 is the score line, point 2 is the intersecting score line, and point 3 is going to be somewhere out past, making this rectangle into a trapezoid. See? So let me show you how to cut it. And then before we move, we're going to just make sure that we hit all those points. There's our score line. It's cut off. Went through our 2 intersecting score lines and out the back. That's what we want. Now we're going to turn this and do the same thing on this side of the box. So we're going to go with this score line here on the track, and then these intersecting score lines here on the track. So we'll just pivot until we feel the track under our finger, and then we're going to cut through both of those points. Before we move the box, we're going to check and make sure, because if we needed to slide and take a little bit more off, we could at this point very easily, but it looks just perfect. All right, next we need scissors and some tear and tape. So let's keep on our lid here for now, and we're going to trim according to the template. So we're going to cut out these little score lines and stop at the intersecting score line. So what I like to do here is go kind of straight along, and then little bevel, and take out a wedge straight along, and then cut a little bevel and take out a wedge. There's the lid of our box. Now let's do the bottom. Here's the template for the bottom. We're just going to liberate the glue tabs. So let's go ahead and do that same way. Take out a little wedge and get rid of that score. Same thing on the other side of the box. All right, there's the bottom of our box. Now we're going to make a flip top lid. It's going to be one continuous piece attached, and that's going to happen when we make these 2 pieces one. Here's how I like to do this. I'm going to take this trapezoid tab, tear and tape adhesive, and I'm going to put 2 strips, like an equal sign, on the back side of my tab. Remove the liner. And then I'm going to bring the back side of my tab, and I'm going to lay it right in on the back side of my box. Make one piece. Now let's flip the box over, and we're going to do equal signs on each of the 6 glue tabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got my take your pick tool. Let's remove the liner on all of these tabs. All right, all of our adhesive tabs are sticky and ready to go. We're going to start with these middle tabs. We're going to bring them in and up. We're going to bring the box lid forward and make nice square corners. And there's our hinge lid. So go to the other end of the lid, make a nice 90-degree corner, and burnish. And then to the bottom of the box, same thing. Bring both tabs and burnish. Now you've got a diagonal flip top treat box. That's just the cutest. All right, let's go ahead and add our treat. This is gonna be the fun part. Got my little Nutty Buddy bar and that heart that we did without fill. Go ahead and peel that one and adhere right to your treat. Haha, cute, right? All right, close that up. Now, here's fill, and we're gonna need a little embellishment. Bring in my sample here so you can see. I have got these brand new Heart and Home doilies. They're going to be available in the January-June catalog. You get, let's see here, 30 doilies, 10 each, cinnamon cider, basic gray, and misty moonlight. I'm going with cinnamon cider because we're going to use the white side, but when you flip the box open, you're going to see it. So the cinnamon cider side still looks super cute from the inside. Let's glue this doily on the box. Oh, I forgot to do the designer series paper. Just hold your doily aside for just a second. Your designer series paper, remember this guy, this 2 1/4 by 5 13/16. We're going to center it right to left with the same amount of border at the bottom as on the right and left. Once you got that, you're going to fold back and burnish. This little trick is going to cover the seam here that is toward the front of the box. You know how I like my seams toward the back of the box. And with this 2-piece box, it's hard not to have a seam somewhere. So we're going to cover that up with our designer series paper. And where we've kind of bent and scored the paper with our fingers is going to be the cue to fold. I'll use my bone folder. We need a liquid glue here because this is going to slide. You'll want to work this little fold after you get the paper on the box so that it opens nice and smooth. This is going to now make that fold 2 layers of paper thick. So we want to work it before we are done with it. So centered right to left, straighten it out. You got some time with the liquid glue. And then you'll smooth all the way to that end and then over the end and just reinforce that fold. Now, here's the important part. Before your glue is dry, lift the lid and smooth the fold and then fold backwards so that this has full function, opens full function the other way. And once you got full function the other way and you smoothed everything out, that's the lid for your box. Now we can add that doily with liquid glue. Just in the center, because you don't want glue over the edges. Uh-oh, I got a little cutout piece. Ta-da! Which is so sweet. Adds a little romance to our character here. I'm going to put a little dot of glue on Phil's tail here so that he adheres to the heart. A little bit on his head too. And then liquid glue on our swoopy square right in the center of our doily. Haha, couldn't get any cuter, could it? Well, yeah, it could. Let me show you. There's our little die cut pieces. You got a tag and a branch. So let's go ahead and stamp Nuts About You on our tag and then adhere the branch. Got my Stampin' Pierce mat again and the Nuts About You greeting, real red ink. I love all things punny. Nuts About You. Remove the ink pad, Stampin' Pierce mat, and we'll glue the branch right across the edge of our tag. So just a tiny bit of liquid glue right on the corner, and then add that branch. Good, right? Now, bring our little treat back in here. Got some Stampin' Dimensionals, and I'm going to put them behind the tag here. That to our treat. Time to embellish. got this metallic ribbon. It is Blushing Bride, and it's got kind of a gold metallic thread in it. It is beautiful, and right now at the filming of this video, there are spools available on the Stampin' Up! Clearance rack for $2.40. There's also red sheer ribbon from the holiday catalog on sale for $5.95. So if you're thinking ahead for Valentine treats, make sure you add a spool of this Blushing Bride metallic ribbon from the clearance rack and a spool of the gorgeous sheer real red ribbon from the holiday catalog last chance list, and get your Valentine ribbon ahead for a whole lot less money. All right, we're going to trim the tail and cut away from the spool. And we'll adhere that with some glue dots. And to pick up on that gold fiber that runs through this beautiful ribbon, we are going to add a brand new sneak peek embellishment. These are the brushed brass butterflies. These will be available in January, the January-June catalog. They are metal butterflies. They're gorgeous. They've got a little brushed finish. They're thick and sturdy, but they're not thick. I should say they're sturdy, they're stable, but they're not thick. They're not going to add any bulk to your project at all. They just will add a gorgeous metallic finish and a really cute, adorable shape. So there it is. There's our Nuts About You Valentine flip top Nutty Bar box. If you've got any questions about the project, email Marisa at kitchentablestamper.com. To shop Stampin' Up 24/7, buzz over to marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.